My name is Kunbi Tamori, Creative Director of April by Kunbi, and this is Dang Masterclass. Here in Nigeria, we don't have fall or winter or spring, so it's hard to describe or explain a collection in that aspect because we don't have anything that is actually influencing our design. I'm not going to like make suits. Nobody's going to buy it. So not suits like winter jackets. So it's hard to create collections in that aspect. But like I said earlier, with mood boards help you create collections because then it helps you you know um, to design a variety of items from day if you're an active wear designer, from day wear to an evening wear. An active wear designer can still make evening dresses that fit into their aesthetics. So if you're an active wear designer, from day wear to evening wear, I think every collection should have day wear to evening wear because at the end of the day, you're not only selling to someone going out during the day. So a cohesive collection, also a collection should be cohesive. I see a lot of collections that are not cohesive. It's probably the designers aesthetics or their idea, but I think a collection should be cohesive because at the end of the day, if you're getting your collection from a mood board, then there should be a story that relates everything together. A collective, on the other hand, is not as collection should usually is about 15, 18 pieces or more. Collective can be 8 pieces, and it's like just little elements of different things, so it's not really as cohesive as a collection because you're trying to do a lot of things in a smaller group of designs, so to speak. Runway is a totally different ball game. It's crazy. It's for a show. I mean, depending on the designer, if you're going to do a runway and you're going to do things that are not, for example, one of the things that catches most people's eyes on a runway is either something sparkly that excites them, sparkly, flowy, because it excites them. It also plays with their eyes. But if you're making the same silhouette that they've seen suits, yes, you can do that in the collection, but if you're making the same thing that they can see in a magazine or anywhere else, it does not excite. Collection, personally, I love drama. I had a show a few years ago, and it was James Bond. It was called Intoxicated, and it was like a James Bond themed fashion show. I don't want people to leave the runway and forget the pieces. They might remember a few pieces, but I want them to remember the story. I feel like the story helps them to remember what happened. So, oh, and then this guy came and so the story helps them to. So if there's time, there's usually no time in a lot of the shows. There's no time for you to start doing all that drama. So if there's time, definitely do something memorable that people can, remember that show for. You don't want it to be forgettable. And also definitely have showpieces, things that work for the runway. Like I said, things that are flowy, things that are sparkly, things that not looking tacky, but things that are memorable, that will be memorable to people. I designed for the female body, so I always want my mood. I don't want them to be chubby because at the end of the day, it's runway, and then they look bigger in pictures and all that. But I always try to pick the curvier models, so they can be slim, but they will have. I want them to have. I don't want them to look straight. I like them really tall because there's an elegance that comes with being really tall on the runway. There's something, that's also part of the things to look out for runway show, because in a runway, because whoever wears your pieces, the way they carry it, when they're taller, they tend to carry it in a more graceful way than if they're like my height, for example. So that's what I look. I look for models that are really tall and have some figure to carry. My dresses are mostly like skin fitted, tight fitted dresses. So I definitely don't want you to look. I want you to be able to say, "Oh, I see myself in that dress." I'm still learning this. I don't think you can. I don't think we're there yet for everyone. Every designer in Nigeria is still thriving. Is still trying to just get a hold of the stuff. It's really really hard to do business in Nigeria. Is you are buying. I can't tell you how much this will I buy every week. Just recently I've been able to control maybe tailors wasting fabric or stealing or just little things like that. Before I used to buy yards of estee and they'll say it has finished because I didn't have any control over it. And then I started buying a roll and they'll still say it has finished. I'm like, it's a whole roll. How can it finish? So now because I've learned what to do, I know how many yards of estee I need for a dress, for example. I will cut it for them. If it's not enough, you can't handle yourself because I know, which is also why I said you should also learn about the business. I know you don't need more than 2 yards. Even if you are putting the estee on the lining and the fabric itself, you don't need more than a certain yardage for that. So I know what they need. I cut it for them. And sometimes it used to last a week before, will last me a month now because, where I've cut off that they're cutting fabric to go and use for something else or they're cutting lining to go and use for something else. It's helped me to control how much I'm wasting from people stealing from me. Social media as is everyone's PR right now. If you can just manage your social media, your Instagram, 90% of my clients right now come from Instagram. So, if you can, your Instagram is your PR basically. So whatever you do with your social media accounts is your PR at the end of the day. If you're making comments, insulting someone with your, business account, for example, that's how people are going to see you. That's the presentation. That's how you're presenting yourself to people out there. PR, I would say if you're having bad press, then definitely I guess you need a PR to try and control the situation. But I think social media is everyone's PR right now. So just make the best use out of it. Make sure that you're putting as much out there for people to be able to know you.